Company, bringing you new meats to serve your family better. And American Motors, builders of Rambler, Nash, and Hudson automobiles, and Kelvinator home appliances, present Walt Disney's Disneyland.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are.
Each week as you enter this timeless land, one of these many worlds will open to you. Frontierland, tall tales and true from the legendary past. Tomorrowland, promise of things to come. Adventureland, the wonder world of nature's own realm. Fantasyland, the happiest kingdom of them all. Presenting this week from Fantasyland, more about the Silly Symphonies.
Hi, I'm Molly B. Ever hear of a crisscross burger? It's easy to make and wonderfully good to eat. First, get a package of tender frozen Swift's premium hamburger patties out of your freezer. They're quick frozen, sealed in foil, and the Swift's premium label tells you this is the best. Next, you'll need some American cheese. Put Swift's premium hamburger patties right into the skillet. You don't have to thaw them. Brown on both sides, and then put crisscross cheese strips on top of each hamburger patty. Cook till the cheese melts, and serve on hot buns. Crisscross burgers are great for an easy lunch or supper. Your family will love them because Swift's premium hamburger patties are so good. Keep asking for all these tender frozen Swift's premium ready quick meats. Hamburger patties, loin luncheon steaks, sandwich steaks, and buttered beef steaks from Swift to serve your family better.
Now, here is your host, Walt Disney.
Many of your letters ask us to tell you more about the Silly Symphonies. Actually, the Silly Symphonies were started as an experiment. We used them to test and perfect the color and animation techniques we employed later in full-length feature pictures like Cinderella, Snow White, and Fantasia. The earliest Silly Symphonies date back 20 years or more, but the stories they told are much older than the pictures themselves. For example, one of our viewers writes that her favorite story was the Silly Symphony Water Babies. Well, we made that one back in 1938, but it was inspired by the story Water Babies, written in 1863 by Charles Kingsley, the great English writer and naturalist. Kingsley loved nature, and he delighted in acquainting his youngest son, Grenville, with its wonders. One day, while they were fishing beside a quiet stream, the boy asked,
Father, would you make up a story just for me?
A story for you, my boy? Now let me see. I know. Would you like to hear a story about the water babies?
Water babies? Father, there's no such thing.
Well, you see for yourself, laddie. Look down there in the water. See the water birds? Water toads? Water flies? Water lobsters? And water babies. Well then, once upon a time, it was a day just like this, and the morning sun was shining brightly as the rolling waves broke over the rocks near the shore. Out of the bubbles foaming up from the surf came the water babies, full of mischief and ready for a romp. That's enough excitement for one day, even for water babies. So back into their bubbles they go, to to dream of the fun they have had, and to rest for another day.
Pack a protein punch in every lunchbox lunch. Swift meats are made fresh daily.
Table-ready meats for quicker fixing eats.
Swift meats are made fresh daily.
For buffets and snacks, break out these handy packs.
Swift meats are made fresh daily.
Variety galore, Swift makes 100 or more.
Swift meats are made fresh daily.
Here are 3 of more than 100 Swift's Premium Table-Ready Meats. Swift's Premium Cooked Salami, Swift's Premium Bologna, and Swift's Premium Pickle and Pimento Loaf. Try 'em all.
Swift meats are made fresh daily.
Come and get 'em. From Swift, to serve your family better.
Many Silly Symphonies were based on ancient fables. One of the most popular was The Grasshopper and the Ants. We made it in 1934, and a lot of people still remember it. Recently, Mrs. Florence Moore of Portland, Oregon, wrote to us asking that we show it again. She said, "I think the present generation should see it, not only because it's very entertaining, but for the lessons to be learned from it." Moral fables illustrating lessons in human behavior go back thousands of years. Many originated with the ancient Chinese storytellers.
And so the crow discovered he had been deceived by the peacock. Moral: man must beware of false friends.
Egyptian fables date back as far as 2000 BC. In fact, the fable of the lion and the mouse was inscribed on papyrus during the reign of Ramesses III.
So the lion crawled out of the hunter's snare and was free. Moral: an act of kindness, no matter how small, is never wasted.
Aesop retold this same story 2,500 years ago, along with such other immortal fables as The Grasshopper and the Ants.
In a field one summer's day, a grasshopper danced about, chirping and singing to its heart's content.
I've been a fool a whole year long, and now I'm singing a different song. You were right, I was wrong.
Moral: in days of plenty, one must prepare for the days of need.
Let's play a guessing game. Who's this?
Tinkerbell?
Right. Now guess what this is.
A crocodile?
Right. Now guess what this is.
A rabbit?
Oh, here's the easiest one of all.
Peter Pan, peanut butter.
Sure. Everybody knows Peter Pan.
Your eyes know and your tummy knows. Best of all, your taster knows. Peter Pan peanut butter is so grand. The smoothest peanut butter in the land.
Made a new way. Smoother and creamier than ever. Even the cap is new. It unscrews, and there's a new seal of purity that seals Peter Pan fresh, to stay fresh. It's fun to eat new, smoother Peter Pan. Spreads faster than you can say, Peter Pan.
Peter Pan peanut butter is so grand, the smoothest peanut butter in the land.
Chanticleer the rooster is one of the most popular characters in fables. He was our inspiration for an animal opera we made in 1938, The Farmyard Symphony. Chanticleer was featured in the 14th century classic Canterbury Tales by Chaucer, which in turn were based on much earlier fables. we meet him again in the epic of the Middle Ages, Reynard the Fox. In all these old fables, Chanticleer was a vain and pompous strutter, so filled with conceit that he even believed it was his crowing that brought on the dawn. Nursery rhymes were a rich source of story material for our Silly Symphonies. The first book of nursery rhymes, published more than 200 years ago, was called Tommy Thumb's Pretty Songbook. It contained 39 rhymes, and as you can see, it was quite small. It was probably the first known example of the pocket-sized books that are so popular today. Many of its rhymes are still widely used by children today. We all know this one. Who killed Cock Robin? I, said the sparrow, with my bow and arrow. I killed Cock Robin. This seemingly nonsensical rhyme was depicted in these old woodcuts carved many years ago. Who wrote Cock Robin is a greater mystery than who killed him. But the verses related to similar themes used by the Roman poet Catullus 2,000 years ago, and by John Shelton, the great English satirist, 1,500 years later. Actually, Cock Robin was believed to be a satirical comment on the political skullduggery that brought about the downfall of Sir Robert Walpole. Sir Robert was only 24 when he first distinguished himself in the House of Commons. In 1712, Sir Robert was falsely accused of corruption and sentenced to the Tower of London, an imprisonment so obviously unjust that it won him national sympathy. On his release a year later, Sir Robert returned to Parliament and was hailed with wild enthusiasm. In 1721, he was appointed Prime Minister, the first man to occupy historic number 10 Downing Street. But after many peaceful and prosperous years, Sir Robert's ministry began to meet opposition from political enemies who used ridicule as their weapon against him. Wherever he went, he was greeted with shouts of, "Down with Robinocracy, down with Robin, down with Cock Robin." Finally, Sir Robert was forced to resign, a beaten and lonely man. Thus, after 21 years, a brilliant prime minister's career came to an end. In those days, who killed Cock Robin had timely significance. Today, it is all but forgotten, but the rhyme itself has lived on. Down through the years, many parodies have been written. In the famous humor magazine Punch in 1843, there was Who Will Teach the Prince, a satire on a controversy raging in the press about the education of the Prince of Wales. Then there was Who Killed Gladstone, Who Killed Home Rule, and many others. Today, Cock Robin lives on as a bit of nursery nonsense. When we made it into a Silly Symphony in 1934, it was voted one of the best 10 pictures of the year. In it, we satirized prominent personalities of the day. Perhaps you'll recognize some of them.
Picture of a man beside himself with indecision.
Should I buy a big car that has lots of room but is hard to handle and expensive to operate? Or should I get one of those little foreign cars that are easy to turn, park, and garage, but just don't have enough room for an ordinary family? What's a fella to do?
Compose yourself. Don't you know there's one car that has everything? Big car room and comfort, plus small car convenience and economy. It's the 57 Rambler, the car of new dimensions. Rambler is so compact, the station wagon outturns every sedan made in America. Yet the Rambler cross-country station wagon has full room for 6 big passengers plus king-size cargo space. Rambler gives big car performance, too. Watch as the new V8 races a strip of high explosives. Even on regular gas, it goes like wildfire. Or choose Rambler's new improved Economy 6, 32 miles per gallon, coast to coast with overdrive. Fun test the 57 Rambler at your Nash dealer, at your Hudson dealer.
One of the most famous American writers of children's verse was the Chicago newspaper man, Eugene Field. Many of Field's most famous poems first appeared in his daily column, Sharps and Flats. Shy and retiring, Field did much of his work at his suburban Chicago home. Propped up in bed like his contemporary Mark Twain, he wrote the delightful verse that reflected his whimsical understanding of a child's world of make-believe. Field often illustrated his writings with little sketches, like this one on the manuscript of Little Boy Blue, one of the most affecting child poems in our language. Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod, originally called Dutch Lullaby, was Field's personal favorite among all his verse. Eugene Field died in his beloved Chicago in 1895, mourned by the children he loved and hailed by literary critics as a children's Shakespeare. Today, in Chicago's Lincoln Park, you'll find this memorial to Eugene Field. It was paid for by the pennies and nickels contributed by thousands of children who delighted in his fantasies. And chiseled on the pedestal of the monument, you'll see the magic boat of Winkin', Blinkin', and Nod.
Winkin' and blinkin' and nod one night, sailed off in a wooden shoe. Sailed on a river of crystal light into a sea of blue. And the wooden shoe that sailed the skies is a wee one from the bay.
Once there was a man who bought a dinosaur. He called it a dinosaur. Actually, it was a big monster of a car, so big it wouldn't fit in his garage. And when he finally found a parking space big enough, a policeman chased him away. It was a bus stop. This monster drank the gas pumps dry and vacuumed the owner's pockets. Finally, he looked at a small foreign car, but that wasn't roomy enough for his family. Then one day, he saw 6 big wrestlers in raccoon coats get out of one compact Rambler. It dawned on him, only Rambler has big car room and comfort, plus European car economy and handling ease. He drove a Rambler and found it outturns, outmaneuvers, and outparks every other car made in America. That a Rambler 6 with overdrive drove coast to coast for less than a penny a mile for gas. If you're tired of feeding a dinosaur, try a roomy, compact new Rambler, V8 or 6, at your Nash dealer, at your Hudson dealer.
Next week, our program will come from Tomorrowland, bringing you another of our science factual shows. We will present the story of the atom and show how this important force of nature will shape our future lives. Here now are a few highlight scenes from this program, Our Friend the Atom.
Next week, Walt Disney brings you Our Friend the Atom. What is the atom? We all know the atom is our future. We all want to understand it, but atomic radiation, electrons, neutrons, protons, nuclear fission. To the average layman, these are just words lifted from the bewildering scientific jargon of the nuclear physicists. What do they mean? Aside from the atom's fearsome power to destroy, what can it do? What will it do for us in the years ahead? Combining his unrivaled abilities as a storyteller with the specialized knowledge of the widely known Dr. Heinz Haber, director of the studio's new science department, Walt Disney tells the story of the atom in terms any layman can understand and enjoy. By the simple device of relating it to the Arabian Nights fable of the fisherman and the genie, he strips the atom of its scientific mystery and makes its meaning and importance something we can all understand and appreciate.
I'll wager that whatever is sealed so well must contain something of great value.
Know that presently thou wilt have to die.
Heaven forbid! Or at least tell me why.
As I lay imprisoned in that tiny jar for many centuries, my anger grew and grew until I swore in my heart that my liberator should perish.
Like the fisherman whose net brought him the tiny vessel that held the mighty genie captive until the fisherman released him, so did our scientific nets cast into the unknown sea of knowledge bring us a tiny vessel, uranium, that held the mighty genie, atomic energy, captive within it. How the genie was liberated, how it first threatened to destroy us, and how it has been harnessed to bring us power to replace our fast-dwindling supplies of coal and oil, better health through atomic medicine, and a better and more abundant food supply. All this is part of the exciting and dramatic story you'll see next week when Walt Disney brings you Our Friend the Atom.
Sooner or later, everyone draws the same conclusion. Just like milk, real butter belongs on your family table. For real butter is churned from 100% real cream. That's the big difference in real butter. On hot foods, you taste the big difference even more. Steaming baked potatoes yearn for the delicate golden goodness of real butter. Every wonderful mouthful of a baked potato calls for butter, plenty of butter. And of course, your family deserves real butter as much as your guest. Is there butter on your table tonight? Real butter?
Next week, Disneyland will be brought to you by Peter Pan Peanut Butter. Now made a new way. It's the smoothest spreading in the land. And your local dairy farmers in this area through the American Dairy Association, reminding you to drink 1, 2, 3 glasses of milk a day. You never outgrow your need for milk. Your whole family will love Cinderella, Walt Disney's all-cartoon feature, all in color by Technicolor. You'll rediscover the happiness and merriment, the fun and fantasy of this best love story in one of the most enchanting motion pictures ever made. Cinderella, spun of dreams, laughter, and romance, enriched with delightful music to put a smile in your heart. Watch your newspaper for the theater near you where you and your family can see Walt Disney's Cinderella. This has been an ABC Television Network film presentation.